Good evening, guys. Sorry I missed you yesterday. Um, totally intended to do a video and ended up getting stuck in this movie I was watching. Pretty good. It's called Kill the Irishman. Some sort of like mafia movie. Anyway, great weekend. We did a garage sale at work. That was a lot of fun. Sold a bunch of stuff, cool stuff for just odd stuff we collected and just needed to find a new home. So that was good. Guitar ensemble had a wonderful performance this afternoon. That was a lot of fun. The choir did really well. Oh, I need to send, I guess, a shout out or something. Good friend of mine I went to high school with came by the shop today, Chris, and it was good to see you again. Interesting thing, I went to high school with Chris. We graduated together, I think, but I don't think I've ever told this to him. I know. Chris was probably the reason I started to play guitar, really. I mean, my dad played guitar. I had already an interest in music, but I remember being like a freshman in high school and going to school, and Chris would have like an acoustic guitar, and he had like crazy long, really rockin' blonde hair. And he would play his acoustic guitar in the hallway, and he would play like Zeppelin tunes and things like that, and I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I said, I hope I can be like that one day. So yeah, that was like, it was one of those things that I just remember feeling like, being 14 and thinking, that's what I gotta do. But anyway, so thank you, Chris. I could probably start a whole series of videos just called what is this chord? This is probably, I get a lot of these questions, it seems like, more and more recently, where people are asking me, like, hey man, what is this chord? So it happened again this week. This chord. So students writing this chord progression, right? Writing this song. And so let's just talk about this. The first chord, if you can see this clearly, right? I'm basically playing the A on the first string, E on the second string, and whatever that is, C sharp on the third string. Well, for me, I think it's important to kind of understand even like geometrically where this is coming from. If you know this chord, right? We all know this chord, I hope. Well, what about this chord? We all know this chord, right? So I'm going to refer to this as the shape is E, alright? But the chord here is A, because if we take this chord and we move it from E and just go chromatically, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, this gives me an A chord, okay? So anyway I split this chord up, it's going to still be an A chord, assuming I'm still playing some combination of those notes. So when the student says, what is this chord? It's an A chord. It's just a straight up A triad. The root of the chord being on the first string there, just like that. Kind of referring to maybe our previous conversation where we're talking about inversions. If I play this just like that, right, and I've got the C sharp in the bottom, right, A, B, C sharp, that's the third note in the scale, so this would be a first inversion, right? So this is a 3, the 5, and the 1, and I guess all that really doesn't matter necessarily except for to say that's an A chord. Well, the second chord he asked about was, well, what happens if you put this note here on the top? Okay, well, and again, kind of like in a previous conversation, what is that note, right? So I have F, G, I can't do this looking into the phone, I have to look at my guitar, F, G, A, B. So A, B, so this is the second tone in the scale, right? So I've got an A chord, and I'm kind of adding the B on the top of it. So I've still got C sharp, E, and B. Well, I've dropped the root of the chord, I've dropped the A out, okay? I'm still going to consider this like an A with an add 9. okay? Because B is the ninth. So then the third chord he asked about, well, what is this chord? Right? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a straight up F sharp minor, right? I'm thinking of F sharp minor because if I come down here and I go like a D minor, and I just move that up chromatically, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, right there's my F sharp minor. So, you know, if you kind of know your if you really C major, G major, A major, E major, and D major, those 5 major chords, and then you know A minor, D minor, and E minor chord shapes, you can move those around anywhere on the neck of the guitar, and they're gonna give you new chords. So if you know how to play the shape, and you know how to play the shape like outside of the open position, it's just a matter of knowing how to count up to where that chord is, and that's how you're going to give it the name. This first happened to me. I remember I was probably like 19 or 20 or something like that, and I was just kind of goofing around at home on my guitar, and I was making this really cool sound. And I was like, man, that's such a cool sound. And I had no idea what it was. And I went to work the next day because I was working in the guitar shop. And I asked one of the teachers, and he was like, oh, well, that's E major 7. I was like, well, how do you know this? Like, what is this E major 7? And then he explained, well, you're playing the root of the chord, the third of the chord. That's the major 7, right? And that's the third again. And you're adding the open E strings in there. Super, super cool way to get an E major 7 sound. And so from then on out, I just kind of tried to always, either to think of like, all right, well, what are my possible scales that the chords are coming from, and being able to locate the notes on the guitar. But yeah, so that's what that chord is. A couple other things I was thinking about too. Kids are doing this thing nowadays, and I can't even do it. Something like you do like this with your eye. I was thinking, is this kind of a result of the kid? We as a society, as kids, have we just kind of burn ourselves out on like technology or something? I mean, I feel like the settlers who settled America and were living in tents and settling this country, like, well, how did they entertain themselves? Were they like making funny finger faces? Is this kind of what we've devolved into, right? As our tablets and our video games and our technology and social media, have they just lost their luster and their allure? Maybe so. I think it's interesting. Maybe maybe it's just maybe we really can't get too far away from our like simple instincts. Maybe Anyway, I feel really good tonight. I feel really rested. Weekend was great. I really can't say that enough. Looking forward to next week. I've got some rehearsals coming up. I got some more lessons coming up. I need to get back into doing some writing again. I haven't really written in a little while, like a couple weeks. But doing some recording also, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, anyway, so I hope this helps answering questions about what these chords are. Hey, Roxanne. Anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Again, if you have some questions, please come find me. If you like this video, hit the little thumbs up button. Yeah, hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Peace.